So yeah, welcome back to West. Yeah, there you go. So that should pick up both of us. The only thing that we have to be conscious of is just not banging the table. Yeah, because it just catches on there.
That's true.
But other than that,
yeah. Do you know what I was thinking on my way here though? I was like, you know how we live in. I was looking at the train map here. I was just like, raw, like these strikes are happening.
mm-hmm.
You know, they changed the train lines names.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just like,
which ones? Already overground, yeah.
I'm just like, bro, like they do so much, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, do we feel like they give enough back? You know. So what the first thing I thought is like, bro, I wonder if they would have a day where it's just free travel for the whole day, for the whole network. Just free. Just tap your Oyster, of course, tap it in, but it's still free. You know. And I was like, I wonder if that would like be good, because it makes people think like, oh, raw, like you man are giving back to the city, like kind of thing, you know. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it happens one time and everyone's like, well, actually, let's do it again and like make it longer and then do it on a holiday and Christmas and, you know. So yeah, it's just something I thought of that.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's an interesting perspective. My immediate response would be, I don't want to say like Sadiq Khan, but I would look at it from what's the value proposition here? Are we doing this as part of a campaign so that we can reduce the amount of road users that are on the road, and we can show them actually it's pretty efficient for you to use the tube. But then, if that's your audience, I think for those audiences, if they're trying to do that and it's not in central London, where it's actually a bit more of an inconvenience to drive, and other areas where it's actually necessary for you to have a car, what about maybe increasing, let's say, car park capacity at like larger stations towards the end of the line? Because you know those stations, once you get to like zone 4, zone 5, they have car parks outside, because people tend to drive in,
for sure,
which is again absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So why don't you couple it with the both? Because I don't think it's necessarily an absolutely terrible idea. If it's for that purpose. I mean,
there's got to be a bigger
incentive as to why it's not just like, oh, it's just a free travel day.
Yeah.
It's like it's the travel day as part of an incentive. If you participate, I don't know, there'll be some, I don't want to say reward, because not everything needs to be rewarded. But yeah, that's where it currently stands. Yeah,
and then on that point as well, it's just like, it's so funny how when it comes to different parts of our society, like, you know, everyone is either like a customer, a client, you know, the word that be
word client.
Or like you're a user in the tech world.
Yep, correct.
You know.
Yep.
You're a follower in also the tech world and just day to day living these days. So yeah, it's just funny how like we're all under different things. And then I was just like, well, because we are under different things, like they're not just gonna give out things for free, you know, because we're not kids, innit? Like it's not a.
But that's, do you know what? It's funny actually that you say that, because when I was coming out of the station close to my workplace, the last 2 times that I've gone in, both times they've been giving out free beverages outside of the station.
They do this.
And I also remember, like, they used to do that at this station close to my secondary school as well. It's because again, there's a large stream of office workers that come through, and
of course,
it's for them and it's for them to be able to sample the product. They might not get a huge amount of feedback initially, but what they would get is that if the product launches on the shelves and somebody's already tried it because they've got it for free, like,
brand recognition.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So there's always some degree of value in it, but yeah, that's kind of where it sits and starts. So what would you say then? Because I definitely want to hit back on Geneva first, not Paris.
Back to that.
Yeah, let's circle back to Geneva. So it's been coming up to 3 months
already.
Yep.
We gotta go back soon.
I know. We had 34 degrees weather when we landed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I've
something.
spoken to a few people after telling them when we went, and they were like, "Yeah, you had a really good time."
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your takeaway from
So
the
yeah,
experience so far?
3 months later, my takeaway is definitely it's a cool place. I'll definitely go back. I think we only saw like a small portion of the city.
Yeah.
I think next time we go, we'll definitely have to like go to the neighbouring, the other city in the country, as well as just go a bit wider.
Zurich,
exactly.
Yeah, Zurich, yeah, Zurich.
Go a bit wider. But all in all, it was chill, man. And I just feel like the tempo that London is right now, I feel like it's getting faster.
Yeah.
I feel like it's getting faster, and it's just because I'm getting older. I don't know, maybe. But at the same time, just like, yeah, it's a nice 2-hour trip away. Yeah, it's a 2-hour trip away, and at the same time, it's like a real chill place to be.
Yeah. So Geneva. So what have you taken away so far?
So yeah, what I've taken away is that it's a really cool place. I definitely want to be going back. The only thing that's the biggest barrier is just the language barrier.
Okay.
But again, that's nothing, nothing that can't be understood.
Yeah.
The vibes are cool. The vibes are great, man. I really love it. People are super chill.
Yeah.
Like I feel in the energy, and also it's on a lake. So
yeah,
there's that like natural factor of just like, let me just go to the lake.
Yeah.
And then in terms of just like, business wise, financial wise, just like, yeah, there's definitely opportunity out there. Yeah, people say it's boring. Yeah, but who cares, man? So that's my takeaway, really.
Okay, fair. Just wonderful.
Let's go this way. Yeah.
Fair.
What do you say is your 3 month later review of Geneva?
I would say it caught me a little bit by surprise, because I walked in with 0 expectations. I just heard that this is a place that I should go and investigate based on my career choice. It's okay, I'm going to have a look. But when we were there, even though it's a small city or town, whichever one you want to call it, it still felt like there were similarities for sure. That's just burnt incorrectly. I'm sure people can make out what's going on. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. I think from the key markaways for me were definitely the lake, Brandapaki, for sure. And actually the fact that the lake, of course, it's fresh water, so there's no salt in there.
That was great, yeah.
People were really enjoying themselves in the sun. It felt like a community. In fact, it was busier when we were leaving than when we got there. So that tells you something. I would say the mixture of people that's there, demographic, it surprised me. It felt like a small mini Paris, to be honest. It was pleasant to walk around as well. I feel like there's a few other places that, of course, with more time or going back there, you can see. But it's a different type of tourist place. There's definitely tourists there, because when we went to the Patek Philippe Museum, we'd seen people. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something, a place that comes alive once the sun sets. And we also noticed that in Paris as well, but I think that's just European culture in general.
Like mainland Europe,
where it's like, wow, once the sun sets and the weather cools down, that's when everyone's out on the wine, having food, drinking and whatnot.
It's a huge social time.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like pretty much everyone's wound down by then.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, because it's just like, it really goes to show, like, obviously, everyone's got work to do, but we still prioritize eating and drinking and having fun and, just cooling off, and I feel like that's something that London doesn't offer, although it does, but in a different way. I feel like the relaxation time in London is a bit more it's a bit more marketed, You know, it's a bit more corporate.
Fair.
You know, so it's like, yeah, go hang out in Canary Wharf. You know, go hang out in this place or that place. Go hang out in Battersea.
Fair.
Power station.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is not really relaxing though.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I just found like that is like a difference. But I guess at the end of the day, we don't have a giant lake. We have the river, of course, but
we don't have a giant lake.
We don't have a giant lake.
Yeah, that makes a big difference for sure. At night, the city's definitely very beautiful, and the way that they've got all of the signs of different Swiss companies on the roofs of the building, like on the edges, I like it. It's very uniform. It's very uniform, and it resonates with the pictures I've seen of it previously. I would also say that the whole thing of it's very expensive. So prior to going, actually, I felt like there was more opinion coming from people that I told that I was going to Geneva or Switzerland than when I actually got there. For me, the prices were the same basically as London. And when you do the conversion between the Swiss franc and the pound sterling, basically you're paying the same thing. On some things it might be slightly more, some things slightly less, but Bob's your uncle. Yeah. I mean, when you're staying at a hotel, you get, for some reason, which is actually quite an interesting incentive, but you get free transport within the confines of the Geneva canton, the Geneva area, which is fine. Like it covers quite a large area.
For sure.
So there is that element of, okay, so you're able to offer free transport for tourists that come here. That's
nice.
It's a positive PR spin.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely is.
And I guess to make that, on that whole expensive thing, when you do arrive as a tourist, you're like, oh, actually, I've saved, you know, X amount of money that you would probably spend here as a tourist. Let's just say £150 on travel as a tourist here. It's like, you're not spending that over there, you know. So
it's also interesting. One other thing I observed as well, when I was just looking at the streets for themselves, at some parts it felt like we were in, let's say, Rotterdam, for example. Some parts it felt like we were in Paris or a French region because of the architecture and the buildings, and others again felt like just a mixture of just general European architecture. And it's not like there was a single point where we were walking around and you could specify, apart from if you was on the lake or you could see Mont Blanc, for example, that I am in Geneva. It just felt like a mixture of Paris, Barcelona, a bit of like Amsterdam, or a bit of like Scandinavian influence at some parts as well. It's a nice city though. I'll give it that. It's a nice city. It's small. From what I've understood and what I've spoken to people that have either come from there, like the guy that I was speaking to on the plane when we was going there, having an interesting conversation. So he's British. So he's British, lives over there with his family, really, really nice guy. And was having a chat and he was saying, it's a small place. Pretty much everyone knows each other because even in like times off during Christmas or whenever, people will go and do similar things or go to the same places and be like, oh, I've just seen you go from the same village to this other one. So there's that, but when you think about it, that can also apply to wherever you're from. As you were saying to me on the way here, you feel like you're not a celebrity, because that's the wrong term to use it, but you recognise, and actually you're a recognisable face in your local community.
Because of the work we do.
Exactly. The same applies for me as well. And it's just like, okay, it's an interesting observation. It's an interesting observation.
Local figures.
Local figures for sure. But it also made me, going back to Geneva, I guess I have the habit of looking at cities and comparing them to London because it's just the default setting. It's not something that I can change. But it's just a mere observation point. And I'm not looking for, is this better, is this not? It's just, how is it different? How is it different? I think there's similarities there for sure. I can feel the sense of it being a corporate or finance orientated city or area, alongside humanitarian, because I think those are the other ones as well. There's a lot of conventions and things that happen in Geneva, so it's an interesting place. But Switzerland as a country I find fascinating. Switzerland as a country, because as a concept it sits on 3/4 languages, but German, French, Italian are the key like 3 main languages. You've got a little bit of something else in there, but like English will always be there as a business language. But this all exists under one flag. But it actually is a meeting point of 3 different countries.
So like geopolitically is super like fascinating. But as we know, Switzerland is like neutral.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
do you remember it was only, I think, towards the end of last month that the White House was saying we are going to put in tariffs against Switzerland. I think it was like 39% tariffs.
Was it?
I was like, oh, where did that come from? So, and yeah, that sparked a bit of a question marking.
And if you're paying attention, it's just like, you know, that's not really something that has happened.
No, previously no. And I think when I was reading it in the news, it was, I don't want to say analysts, but the commentators were like, we don't fully understand the motive behind this, because I think with Switzerland, the US has a trade surplus, or they don't trade as much, or whatever it is, but there's some kind of, it's not as negatively impacted by the perception of America is being hard done by their trading partners.
Right.
I don't think Switzerland is getting the upper end of that stick per se, but again, here or there.
You know, speaking of that, it's actually funny because in a lot of these charts that you'll see globally, you know, relating to GDP, economic finance, all of these sort of metrics, when you actually look at the list as if you are, you know, understanding the country as the politics and geopolitics as well, you can also understand more as to like where they are on a chart of, you know, GDP, you know, investment per capita, you know, all of these different things, all these different metrics.
Fair.
You know, so it really is interesting, like from that angle. You know.
Not fair. So yeah, was there anything that you had on your mind actually? Any like, because I think that pretty much covers Geneva.
For me, it was actually just.
Actually, no, sorry, tell a lie. We didn't touch Paris.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah. But the last thing I'll say about Switzerland is just like, wow, it's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Like, everyone talks about, you know, Paris is an hour away. Or, what do they say? 2 hours away?
Paris is 2 hours by train.
Okay.
Hour by flight. Switzerland is an hour and a half by flight.
Yeah.
So
it's like, wow, just because of a bit of distance, it's only now I'm realizing, wow, like, it's really not that far away as we can imagine maybe before, you know. Or when I've had conversations in the past with people about going there, it's like, oh, it just sounds a bit further, you know, than going to Paris, or, you know, going to Marseille, or, you know, going to the south of France even. You know, people are more familiar with talking about going to Barcelona, even though that's like 3 hours away and a half, I think. But it's like, wow, Switzerland is so close, but it can feel so far away. And that's what I really like, that whole mystery of it, especially when it comes to like people in Britain, people in London, you know, considering that we're both major cities. So again, just on that other point of view, it's just like, wow, even though Londoners are like a global city, sometimes it can feel like the way how people think in their mind is so limited to like just being local, you know. So that's
it's funny because that actually resonates both with people and companies as well. And I say that because, and it can work in your favour depending on what company you are. It can work against you.
Yeah.
Just depends on, you know, the strength of what you have locally.
Yeah.
But I actually remember having this conversation recently with like a friend, just saying that sometimes you feel like you're working for somewhere, or you may have worked somewhere that thinks just locally, as opposed to sees a bigger picture.
Right.
And like I said, a lot of places that do that normally dominate their market locally, so you have to think where you earn your money from. That's understandable. Yeah. So it's not criticism here, but it's a good observation. It's definitely a good observation, and I think. And
you know, on the last point on that, it's just like, wow, you know, in this last year, in 2025, I think it's been the most I've ever heard people I know say they're going to Thailand, you know, or they're going to like Colombia more, you know, or places like even Mexico, you know. But the 2025 has definitely been that year where I've heard it a lot, and I'm just like, wow, like everyone is so excited to go so far away, but there's so many sick things happening on our doorstep, you know.
I know.
Like Switzerland is 2 hours away. Like it's easier to get from, you know, where do we go? Gatwick.
Yeah, from Gatwick
We went from Gatwick straight in, and it's just like, but yeah, you can get to Switzerland quicker than you can get from one side of London to the other, you know.
Yeah, once you're on the flight, yeah, for sure.
So it's just like,
for sure,
rah,
for sure.
You know, we're really looking like closer to home, but not that far.
Correct. I think the next way you're gone.
Yeah, and then speaking of Paris, it's just like, cool. For me, Paris was sick because I was like, wow, Paris is a bit of a weird one, you know. You either love it or you hate it. This is from everyone I've ever spoke to in my life. You know, it's the best place or it's the worst place. I can't take it, or I feel like I'm just moving and grooving, right? But when I went this time, I was like, yeah, like, I get it, you know. I get the difference, you know. I feel like the problem is it's a bit more spread than London, isn't it?
I feel like it's more compact. I feel like it's more compressed, actually. I feel like it's more compressed than London, and it's smaller.
Okay.
Paris itself, obviously there's the wider areas, which include Versailles, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I would say,
that's what I'm thinking about as well.
Yeah,
go on.
But
generally,
Paris is actually quite small, fixed within a peripheric, and it's got 20 arrondissements, which is just 20 local authorities, but it goes in like a snail pattern. Yeah, so it's not like it can be from 13 or 12 and then 20. That's because it's doing this. So it's just that's just how they've had it.
But that's the sick thing, is like, you know, what made people creating Paris here as a city say we're going to do it in this curve pattern rather than London, where it's a bit more like, London's a bit more like of a puzzle. Would you say?
It is definitely a puzzle for sure.
Yeah, and
it's a puzzle considering that actually the number of your postcode orientation doesn't actually reflect the order that it goes in. Perfect example. W3 is Acton, but Acton is between here, Holland Park, Shepherd's Bush, Acton Vale, then Acton.
Okay.
So you've got to pass basically 4 areas to get there.
Yeah.
Whereas this goes from W1, W2, W11, W10, W8. Which is how do we go from 2 to 8 to 10 and 11?
10 and 11, yeah.
Where's number 3 and number 4? Oh, they're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Same in East. E4 is Chingford. And I was like, when I went to Chingford, I was like, this is, when I come up the station, I look right. I'm like, that's a country field.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks like national speed limit over there. So, but Paris. Okay, we're fair. Yeah. But how do you feel like for the places that obviously I managed to get to show you, we got to see?
I feel like those areas made Paris make more sense for me.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah, like because now that you're older and you go somewhere different, not only can you sense, like, okay, you understand how the world moves now. You understand where the neighborhoods are versus the financial district. You know, all of these central city points, right? And it's just like, okay, well, now that I've gone way further out of Paris in different directions, I can really see the picture that's happening here. You know, before, like, I mean, I was a lot younger, but it's just like I went to a hotel, I went to the event, came back, like I was just like in and out, you know.
Fair.
But this time I was like, okay, I'm seeing this picture in my mind now of how it will fit. And then the best thing is that we went to La Défense.
La Défense.
You know.
Yeah, La Défense. La
Défense. So it's just like.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, and then the view. That view is sick. Straight down. Like, what kind of place is this? And this is why the snail makes sense. Because when you have a snail, you can do this sort of, like, long, straight Roman road. Yeah. You know.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. You've because of its sheer nature, you've got room for flexibility.
This is it,
because of the way it's constructed, 100%.
And I'm like, I really like that. So now I'm thinking, okay, let me look at other cities and like how they structured not just the city but the neighborhoods or the boroughs or
for sure.
You know,
for sure. You're spot on with that.
That was just interesting.
Because Paris, I think I've declared my little fling with Paris. I've had for ages. I've grown each time I go back to Paris now, especially in the last probably 3 or 4 times, I've enjoyed it even more. Each time. Because I think I've understood better what a life of a Parisian would be like. Just like how a life of a Londoner is. And I'd say the first things, as you've touched on, is La Défense, which is the business district. Architecturally, it's actually done quite well. The way it kind of opens up, it still is in the headline. That is actually a pretty good feat. Then you've got, when we crossed the bridge and we took a left quickly, we went to Neuilly. And that was the nice area with do you remember the zebra crossings?
Yeah.
So that's the British influence right there.
Definitely.
Paved all over the streets.
Yeah.
Because that's undisputed.
Yeah.
That's undisputed.
And I think when we went there, we even saw a telecoms production office.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So there's definitely there's establishments there for sure, and that would have been since millennia.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they've been neighbours forever. So there's that. We went to Bois de Boulogne, which is the big park. That big park we went to, and then the area just after that, the 16th.
Yeah.
And the 16th, like I said, 16th for me, it's going to be my favourite because it reminds me the closest of the borough where I'm from, which is here, which is not have to say for this part. Yeah, because for me it just feels the closest. I understand it. It's nice. It's good for Central.
Yeah.
And when we was walking around there and stuff, I don't know if you remember, it was the area we walked down. We went down them steps, etc. Went to the bridge and then we saw the Eiffel Tower.
I remember.
Yeah, all of that. So, and obviously you was doing the pull-ups and that.
I remember. That area is nice.
Yeah, you could see it. It's a family-oriented area. It felt very calm. Very just organised.
It felt organised.
Yeah.
And it's interesting seeing that organisation, in comparison to where we are, because with that whole organisation, it's very obvious, and I think that's because both areas feel super far apart, But it's like going to, one of the nicest roads in Knightsbridge. You're like, okay, there's a bit of a difference, but it can still be a bit scruffy, So I just thought that was interesting. Whereas Paris is very opposite. Like, no, this is clean.
Every layer, 100%. Every area has its thing, but for sure. And then you've got Versailles.
So the old.
Versailles needs its own segment of discussion because honestly, Versailles to this day probably has to be my favourite place in France.
Wow.
Yeah, in France. I love Paris as a city, so I wouldn't put the two together. But if I had to choose one place in France, I would give Versailles.
Okay.
Because I would start immediately with the gardens. I'm not even talking about the palace. I'm talking about the gardens that back onto the palace. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. We haven't got anything that comes close. The scale, the accuracy, the beauty. I'm telling you, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's unreal. I stand there and I think, and I'm like, I can hear all of my thoughts, and I feel like if you were in competition or whatever it is, and you're here and it's a battle of the minds, you're going to win. Because to have all of that landscape at your disposal whilst you're in deep thought, you're gonna go on to do great things.
Like the way how the grass is cut in such a way that you can see like so straight. I've never seen something like that.
So planned.
Yeah.
Nice nature.
Yeah, I haven't seen something like that.
No.
That really took me by surprise. I'm just showing some old videos.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It just goes back to yonders, but the whole thing is trimmed, hedged, and planned. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Look how far back it goes, and like crazy. Even the pond in the middle is part of it. It's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, no one has nothing like that.
I think it's crazy how they worked with angles so well.
Yeah. The whole thing, the way it's constructed, the way it branches off, and then you have to go into a little like courtyard.
There's courtyards inside
courtyards. It's just like, what are we doing here? All the hedges are accurate to the millimeter.
But the craziest thing is, what we're looking at right now is just the main section.
Yeah.
We're not even looking at where we went, where all those mini palaces were.
Quay at the back.
Yeah, at the back.
That's why I say it. Honestly, this grounds of Versailles, and not just here, but even the little city part outside.
Yeah.
Everything up from the train station all the way up to the back of the garden. Yeah, that whole thing. I bagged that whole thing. Yeah, that's me. Versailles, that's me, 100%.
Yeah.
Versailles is incredible. Versailles is absolutely incredible. I can't specify it enough.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I actually managed to go there for the first time, and then I've been there now, I think 5.
Yeah.
And I would happily go again. Inside, this was the first time I'd actually gone inside.
Yeah.
Every time I'd been visited previously, I hadn't gone.
Yeah.
Hey, La Défense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was serious, man. It was serious, man. I'm telling you.
Have a look at it. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, Swiss money.
Yeah.
The money's very bright. We almost missed our flight.
I'll flip it back.
But yeah, so going back to it, yes, that's
Yeah.
Paris. Now for me, going back to it, I could easily live in Paris. Paris feels
Yeah.
very familiar. Metro system feels somewhat like the tubes.
Yeah.
Just more frequent but shorter trains, fine. But it's all good. But yeah, overall, Paris is a green light for me.
Yeah.
100%. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, well, that's it.
Good.